Hey, Bruce, like Nashville was trying to take over the game from a physical standpoint. I know you guys were missing a couple of your more physical guys, but how pleased were you with how you were able to respond to that?
Well, very, to be honest with you. I mean, we tried to finish the checks that were there. I don't know what the hit count is exactly, but I think there's a lot on both sides. Probably one of the more, higher numbers, quantity of hits on both sides. Certainly everybody's capable. We saw that with Marshy on Fabro, good clean hit, drills Yossi in overtime, clean hit. So they were out there, take them. I thought Taylor Hall had a good hit early on, and then just the other ones where you got to rub people out, finish so they don't jump into the play. So all in all, I guess as they describe it as a playoff style game, and we responded well. They had a good push in the second. We knew they would. Probably the only area of the game that we were not at our best, and got it back at the end of the second, got our game back where we wanted. Steve, we addressed that going into the second intermission, that we found our game, we got back to it, we're starting even, so let's go. And I thought we were the better team in the third, and eventually got the win.
Matt Porter. In Vakanainen, he's had more confidence since he's come up here, but how much more does he get, off that sequence, surviving the penalty and then making the play in overtime?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's just got to, understand it's an every night business at this level. We certainly will allow guys to make mistakes and understand their youth. I mean, we've done it over the years with a lot of guys that are mainstays now, from, McAvoy, Grzelcyk, Carlo, Pasternak. Jake only spent 1 year in Providence and, has worked his way through. And we're, so there's a number of different guys that have all done it. And he'll be another one that if he can outplay his competition, then he'll get that opportunity. But it's nice to see him step in and do well, Steve, because we're kind of at that point where you're wondering after a few years, he's not like a kid anymore, where he's a first year pro. He's seen it. Time to start doing it, and opportunity arose, and some guys kicked the door down. Other guys kind of gently stepped through it. And I think he's somewhere in between there, and he's doing a good job. He's going to make it difficult decisions when we're 100% healthy. And that's what we want as an organization. And, you need that circle of life where those young guys come in. So good for him. But again, it's consistency, right? And so far, so good with that area.
Matt Porter.
Bruce, special teams were obviously big. You guys converted on your chance, and you had to kill two big ones. What did you like on the penalty kill in particular? Especially with Forbert and Carlo out that time, and Vakanainen and Lewington on the ice.
Well, the first one, we didn't get the clears we wanted. So to be able to stay composed, keeping your structure. Obviously, when you're stuck in your own end for stretches, Matt, you can't be nearly as aggressive because you're just fatigued. You're not going to get there on time. So to have the sort of the mental toughness to hang in there, eat a puck when you need to, is important, right? They got a good look off the rush. We broke down off the rush. It hit the crossbar. So we got away with that, a breakdown early in the second kill in the third period there. But at the end of the day, we found a way. And our penalty kill has been good here for years. I mean, we take a lot of pride in it, and it showed tonight. And power play is the same, I believe. We've been very good on it. It's a lot of times it's about timely kills, timely goals in the power play. And tonight we saw a good example of both in the third period.
Sophia.
Hi, Bruce. I just had Taylor Hall post game and just asked him how much fun the room is having right now. And he said a lot. And he mentioned the coaches too. The coaches are having fun. And I know you have a lot more homework and a lot of work kind of mid-season, but can you just describe, the new vibe and how much fun really can a coach have right now?
Well, fun is not usually equated with the word coach a lot. I mean, it's, we're kind of crusty at times, but I think we all get along. We have good personalities. We can joke around. We try to, with the players, keep the room light when necessary. And right now, when you're winning, it's always more enjoyable for everybody. That's what we take pride in, is representing, the Bruins crest and playing good hockey. And early in the year, there was a lot of an uneven play and couldn't really get going in the schedule. So obviously it's not as much fun. But a coach of mine, I remember years ago, I was on a good hockey team, and he walked in and we ended up winning a championship in the old International League. kind of the equivalent of the American League now. And he wrote on the board one day, we were going well, but we got away from it. Like 3 words: work, win, have fun. And he put them in that order. And he basically came in one day, we'd lost. He said, don't mess up the order. You know, that's the way it goes. That's the way it needs to work. And he was right. And I believe that translates to this group right now. They're a hardworking team that's found their identity again. They're winning, and obviously then you have fun. So it's a nice combination, and Taylor's right. And I'm glad. I think it's easier to come to work every day when you're enjoying what you're doing.
Jimmy Murphy.
Coach, I mentioned the defense to you earlier in the game, and we talked about how they were stepping up into the play. Just if you can talk about Mike Riley's play right there on that goal.
Yeah, he had a lot of pop today offensively. I thought early in the game, Jimmy, he didn't get his gaps up and was getting a little stagnant with his feet. He has a tendency not to close and then get going when the puck's going the other way. We're trying to build some pace into his game defensively. Obviously can't overskate plays, but in general, to close gaps, get up, make it a little easier to kill some plays in the neutral zone. He's a smart player with a good stick. But he sure had his legs offensively. Nice play all around on the goal against the type of defense Nashville plays in the neutral zone. We got behind them, recovered a puck, and then had a little time and space, and Mike sees an alley, and away he goes. And good play by Holla. He had another look there, top of the circle in the second period, hit the goalie's knob. I think look, I was going in. So some good opportunities for him, and he can bring some offense. We saw it last year. We're seeing more of it now. That has to connect with forwards, finding him at the right time. So it kind of all works together. But with some guys out of the lineup, he stepped up, giving us some good quality minutes. Again, good problem to have when guys are pushing one another. And as we talked about Vac before, that's what makes your team go.
Last question, Kevin Dupont.
I got a question on the hitting, but first, Butch, your answer to Sophia about the coach. What was the coach's name down in the minors?
It was Daryl Sutter, and he coaches in Calgary now, and he's had an excellent career, and he's won a lot of places he's went. And that, I played for Daryl for probably 2 or 3 full years, and I always remembered that. Because to put it in context too, Kevin, we had been going well, kind of like this team is now, but we had a little hiccup. Maybe we lost a game, tied a game. I think back then they had ties. So that's what he wrote. We called us in one day, and we thought, we're going to get, we're going to hear about a video session or, a skating session. And that's all he wrote, on the board. And it was very subtle, but direct message that we received and took to heart, and off we went. And that's one thing I always remember.
That's great. And today's hitting really impressed me. 90 odd hits, pretty much split in the middle. I look down, Marchand's got the nose bleeding again, and everybody's pounding each other. If you played 82 like that, you wouldn't have a roster by midseason. So what determines, what's the accelerant in that today? What gets that going?
Well, you got to play 20 some like that in the playoffs typically, Kevin. You can have an off night, but in general, that's kind of how it goes. So it's nice to see we come out of that game, match them hit for hit. And I think even had some of the better ones that I'm sure, that they're licking their wounds a little bit, just like our guys are. But, it does hurt to win. It hurts to win. And by that, I mean, you got to take hits, give hits. You got to block shots. There's a lot of little things that go into it. So, that's the way I look at that physicality part. Why does it end up like that? I think Nashville has changed a little their personnel and is trending that way to play that type of game. So I think when our team gets drawn into those games, we're fine with it. We were missing a couple of guys that are big men, but other guys went in and matched them. You don't have to be the biggest guy on the ice to deliver good, clean hits. We saw that with Marshy a couple of times. Steiner finishes his check. So again, I think it's a style of play that we relish playing, but usually it takes 2, I think, to get that game escalated, that, physicality. So, you take a hit and all of a sudden the bench is like, yeah, okay, we got to get one. You know what I mean? It goes back and forth. It's hard for just one team to go out and run the other team, with the other team responding to get the temperatures up.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.